This is where collaboration meets innovation. It's where the emergency services meet every single year. This is the Emergency Services Show 2015. Now we're on Surrey Fire and Rescue's hydraulic platform, and at the moment we're 42 metres above the NEC in Birmingham, overlooking the Emergency Services Show. My name is Declan Keogh and I'm here with Gail Lehman of Wiltshire Search and Rescue, and also Kevin Sedgwick, who is the Technical Director of Rosenbauer in the UK. How many firefighters would actually normally stand in this?
You got 5 in this.
5 firefighters.
And what sort of height building will this get up to?
42 metres or about 130, 140.
This special feature is brought to you by our kind sponsors at Deegan Safety in Dublin, and you can find them at deegansafety.ie. In this report we will see how Resilience Direct is keeping the UK safe and by making it easier for the emergency services to manage major incidents. We'll also talk to the West Midland Ambulance Service from the launch of their new Incident Command Unit. The British Army will tell us about their recruitment campaign, and if you're a driver of an emergency or voluntary service vehicle, we will also have some very sound advice to drivers on blue light driver training. That's all coming up.
Very often when they get to around about 8 centimetres, they'll get this overwhelming urge to push as if they're fully dilated.
There are currently 21,000 paramedics in the UK today. The College of Paramedics are the professional voice of the paramedics. They are also responsible for setting the standards for education, the scope of practice and how paramedics are utilised across the UK.
This is one of our CPD sessions. So CPD is very important to paramedics to maintain their practice and keep them up to date. So part of the benefit for being a member of the college is we provide free CPD. So Amy here is talking about obstetrics and maternity, which is obviously a major part of paramedic practice, and we provide all of these things for free.
How many members are involved with the college?
Well, we've got up to over 7,000 members in the College of Paramedics at the moment, but there's 21,000 paramedics in the UK, so we've still got some way to go. But by providing membership benefits like medical indemnity insurance and fitness to practice insurance as part of your membership, we're very confident that a lot of people will join us for those benefits.
And is the college part of or affiliated to the NHS?
We represent paramedics both in the NHS and out of the NHS, be it ambulance service and non-ambulance service, so we are spread across all areas of practice.
Okay, and finally, Martin, can you tell me what other talks are going to be on here at your own stand?
So we're doing airway management. I've just done a quick one on pain management. We've got obstetrics going on at the moment. We're talking about independent prescribing. So there's a wide variety of subjects, and there's always stuff going on across the UK.
Okay, that's Martin Berry from the College of Paramedics here at their stand at the Emergency Services Show. There are 12 blue light services in England, 4 of which are the statutory services. Training for drivers of emergency services vehicle is a big issue here in the UK, and as new codes of practices are being introduced, each service must be in line with the high-speed driver training codes of practices. To find out more, we stopped off at the Emergency Response Driver Training stand and spoke to Steve Milton.
A fire tender driver would normally attend an 8-day response course. First part of that course would be made up of advanced driving as per the police roadcraft manual. Once they've reached the appropriate standard as an advanced driver, then they would move on to progressive driving and then emergency response driving in line with the National Occupational Standards, HSDT codes of practice.
Okay, and obviously it's under the guise of ROSPA. Under Section 19, but that means then that every local authority fire service, every British police force would have to undertake this, is that correct?
Well, ROSPA is just my awarding body. The statutory services, the police, the fire and ambulance, they may choose to have their own awarding body, but all the training going forward with the new codes of practice must be in line with the high-speed driver training codes of practice, which is hopefully going to be implemented in law by the end of this year or the first beginning of next year. So it will be a legal requirement to undertake specific training in line with the high-speed driver training codes of practice, or instructor training. It's also in line with the codes of practice. So there's units and elements that must meet the minimum standards for this training.
Okay, and do we know what sort of statistics in terms of collisions involving emergency services vehicles here in the UK? Would that information be available?
Well, one of the reason for these new codes of practice was to standardise the training and to reduce the accident rate for emergency services. Statistics show in the UK alone it's about 8 times more road risk driving under response conditions. The only rough statistic I can give you for the fire services, since 2008, the fire service has been involved in 6 fatalities driving under response. There is statistics for the ambulance and the fire. I don't have them to hand, but what I am aware, having sat at national level on these codes, was the statistics were submitted to the government, which was one of the driving forces towards standardising the training, and also to try and bring in line the non-statutory services to ensure they're at the correct standards to drive on our public roads under response conditions.
What's it like from Boron?
The goal cutters? Yeah, they can do that.
How long's the battery last?
8 to 10 minutes per battery, so it's a bit more than the helicopters, but still not enough. So when your battery is going to run out, you get 40 seconds warning of all your lights start flashing. Everyone for an extra £5 takes a second battery, because we've made the battery very simple to remove. So once you've got your flashing lights, bring your drone back, unplug your battery, put that one on charge, get your spare, put it in, and you're away and flying again.
What's the charge?
35 minutes from an iPhone socket, 25 minutes from a car USB port, or 45 minutes through a computer.
Okay, we're outside the NEC here at the outdoor exhibition area, and we came across a new concept, something that's taken off in the UK. It's a multi-agency response vehicle, and with me is Alistair Cooper from Telstar. Alistair, this is a relatively new concept here.
Yes, Declan. We looked at the market globally and what things were doing, and we listened to the statistics around the fire vehicle, first responder, and support of the ambulance service and medical. So we decided to go out, design a vehicle without commitment from anyone, and the vehicle behind us now is number 2. The first vehicle is out with a brigade on evaluation for 12 months, and the feedback's been very strong. So what we did was we took a Mercedes Sprinter, extra long wheelbase, high top, and we divided it into 2. Traditionally, you would see the crew behind the passenger and driver. In this case, we took the crew right into the back, the second 2 crew, the first 2 driver passenger, and the compartment with the sliding doors we've made into a fire module compartment, 500 litres of water, Hale HPX pump with 520 litre per minute output, 60 metre hose rail at 20 bar pressure, plus a wide range of equipment that's generally very flexible. And then we looked at the back, and we wanted to evolve into a safe haven capability where we could triage a patient, assess a patient, protect a patient from trip, fall, accident, RTA, and then prepare the patient to transport to hospital by the ambulance service when we turn up. We quite often find that lots of communities have fire stations but no ambulances. Yes. It's just the way it's always been. That was the big risk analysis.
And Alistair, will this replace or be in addition to the likes of an emergency tender in a fire station, or what you're saying is it's more associated to rural stations which don't have an ambulance in the area?
I think it's a mixture of both, Declan. Where you've maybe got a 2-pumper station, with a standard B or a mid-type, I think you'll probably see it becoming a single pump station, and maybe this being the second vehicle. So you've got firefighting capability, and then this becomes the community ambulance as such.
And would you see it probably would be an advantage in terms of the new concept that's coming along where it's a tri-service now? We have police, fire and ambulance stations, and you have Hertfordshire and so on are linking into fire and police. So this will be, in addition to that, it will be complementing it.
Yes, that fits directly into that model, Declan, whether it be budgetary capital purchasing or leasing of assets or down to operational tasking. There's no reason why this couldn't be manned by retained firemen, whole-time firemen, volunteers, police community support officers, Red Cross personnel, St John's. It can be stationed, and of course it can, you know, and we can then cross-train operators to do different parts of the task as well.
Okay. Emergency service vehicles are required to be visible and identifiable to the public and other services. Using specialised livery material, the process of marking up a vehicle as an emergency vehicle takes a long time and also has to meet specific standards of legislation under what's called Chapter 8. One such company who provides that service is Fleet ID.
We supply a large range of reflective and non-reflective materials for emergency service, highways and corporate branding. So it's a long process, obviously start to finish. We obviously got to measure the vehicle, make sure our kit fits perfectly, supply the vehicle, we can install the graphics same day, get it back to you the same day. We also do full Chapter 8 spec, Chapter 8 rear chevron kits for highway use as well as round town use as well as general maintenance use. So we have lots of legal legislation to get involved, so we have full RA1, RA2 and RA3 rated materials which can cover across the UK for all uses. We have to, the materials we use obviously have to be edge sealed because they're like a diamond grade pattern, which is pretty much like a 3D honeycomb. So when you cut it with a blade, it obviously leaves an edge. It leaves an edge open, which can leave like a dirty line along the edge of the material. This being said, we've invested heavily with 3M, and we actually have our own technology which actually edge seals shut the honeycomb. So it means no dirt can obviously access the side of the material and damage the material in future.
The West Midland Ambulance Service launched their new Incident Command Unit at the Emergency Services Show. The vehicle, which is the latest generation of communication vehicles, was built by Spectra, and the technological aspect of the unit was provided by Accelerate.
We try and stay ahead of the curve. We're trying to anticipate. There's a lot of change going on in the UK at the moment. Everybody knows about government cutbacks, etc. But there's also a lot of very important consultation going on about changes in positioning the ambulance service for 2020 and beyond. We're certainly gearing ourselves up for that so that whatever we present today is going to be fit for purpose with that in mind, and also very mindful with what the government are trying to introduce, which is greater cooperation between the three emergency services. So again, when we're developing the technology, we're trying to anticipate that level of cooperation, how interoperability is going to become even more important than it currently is. I'd now like to hand over to Anthony, if you want to say a few words first.
Thanks very much, David. As David has just said, this is the first major investment in a major incident command vehicle in the ambulance sector in our country for some considerable years, and I'm really proud to be the Chief of the West Midlands that we've invested in this equipment and this technology. It's really important for me and for our board to ensure that all of our frontline staff have the very best equipment to keep them safe and enable them to provide the best care, the best treatment and the best service for our patients should the worst happen in the West Midlands, or indeed we're asked to provide mutual aid to another ambulance service. And this equipment, this vehicle, will enable our staff to provide even better care for patients if we have to deal with a substantial or a major incident here in the West Midlands.
So you're looking now at our brand new incident command vehicle. It's been a year in the planning and the build. It's been built by the staff that are actually going to use it in terms of design, and it offers not only our staff responding to incidents but our commanders and control staff the very latest in technology.
Okay, and obviously there's a current vehicle on the road at the moment. What will the difference in terms of technology and capabilities that this particular vehicle has towards the one that's already on the road?
So previously we had a Mercedes Sprinter, which has served us very, very well, but it was a very small vehicle. We've learnt through incident debriefs and learning as capability needed to grow. So as you can see, it's a much larger vehicle. It's quite an imposing vehicle. So it sends a very clear message that this is the command vehicle. Technology-wise, technology moves daily. So we're nearly 6 years on from the previous vehicle. So this comes with the latest software in terms of incident command management. It comes with live weather satellite monitoring. We can actually access our own office back functions directly, so our CAD system back at our headquarters. And West Midlands as a whole is on Office 365, so everything we do is in the cloud. So actually we can draw all our information down from the cloud, all our plans and things.
We're here at the British Army stand here at the Emergency Services Show, and I'm here with Captain Amy Johnson from the British Army. Amy, thanks for taking time out. What are you doing here today?
Today we are recruiting regular and reservists into the Army Medical Services, anything from paramedic students up to consultant doctors. We're trying to get a full scope of people and skills, and then try and bring them into the Army, whether as a regular or part-time as a reservist, and open up opportunities to people.
And can you tell me exactly what services are in place so far with the British Army?
So the Army is doing a massive recruitment drive into reservists. So at the moment we're trying to promote the fact that when you join the Army, whether as a regular or reservist, you're entitled to exactly the same opportunities, that you're given entitlement to clinical training, military training, leadership and management skills, as well as opportunities to do sport and adventurous training and stuff. It's a whole package of opportunities we can make available to people.
Okay, and if a person was interested in becoming or joining in the Army, how many weeks of training is involved?
If you're a soldier, it's 14 weeks at Purbright doing basic level soldier training, and if you're an officer, you go to Sandhurst and you do basically different types of courses if you're doing a regular reservist. But it's 14 weeks as a regular, and as a reservist you split it over 2 blocks, and it's certain weeks periods so that you can fit it around what your normal job is.
Training mode. Call
Go
for
through
help.
the initial
Remove
things
pads
exactly
from package in back of unit. Apply.
Now, while many of us are familiar with defibrillators and AEDs, automated external defibs, which are designed for a layperson to treat sudden cardiac arrest, we came across a relatively new life-saving tool which was on display at the Martech Life Care stand. And as sales manager Sam Jackson demonstrates AEDs to some delegates, we spoke to Steve Jelfs from Defib Tech about the new device.
Press flashing shock button. Shock
that works
1
the same.
delivered. It is safe to touch the patient.
This is what we call an automatic CPR device for doing chest compressions. So it's designed for professional rescuers like paramedics, hospital-based professionals. So what it does is it automatically delivers chest compressions in a logical and consistent way, and it never gets tired like a human rescuer would do. So it gives more efficient chest compressions.
Okay, and what sort of services would buy this? Would it be the community, first responders, those type of people, or is it someone from the NHS?
It's more for the professional rescue like NHS ambulance, hospital departments, emergency departments, because it's more of a professional device that people will be trained to use, and because they do CPR more often.
We've got just a thing for it. If you look at this unit,
Yeah, we like this.
you turn that on.
Well, no, I mean, all defibs on the market will deliver shock and cardiac arrest. They all are designed essentially for lay rescuers, in other words, non-professional people. However, they all have different types of features. So we think we have a very good device because it has a long warranty, a long battery life, and it's very, very simple to use. No, just I think that people are becoming more aware now about automated external defibrillators, and it's an item that should be in every workplace, school, sports club, etc., because people die from sudden cardiac arrest.
Would you like to see it out? one for you, huh?
Yeah, we're here today just to highlight what the capability of the tower is. So we've got some guys just doing some scenarios so we can highlight the advantages of having a bespoke tower made for an emergency service or a training provider. Yeah, we've got over 400 towers throughout the United Kingdom, and we're looking at 1 or 2 now in Europe for their training, for the safe work and rope rescue. And everybody's asking for slightly different types of towers, so we're making them to suit.
How many personnel would it generally take to carry out that rescue?
Yeah, we were looking at a minimum of a team of 4, but ideally you want a team of 5. You'll have probably a supervisor in charge and what we call an attendant to go with the casualty. Just to make sure the casualty is comfortable, talk to the casualty, make sure there's no major issues, medical issues, and then you've got a couple of guys who are operating the equipment, so the attendant's hands-free.
Now we're here at the Resilience Direct stand, part of the Cabinet Office, and I'm here with Luana. This is a brand new system and software that's been developed. Luana, tell us about the software itself, or what the Resilience Direct programme is about.
So what it's about is keeping the UK safe, it's saving lives, it's supporting our resilience community, so that's all the responders, blue lights, but it's not just for blue lights, it's also for our partners who are private companies, so private sector. If you think of the utilities, anytime there is some sort of an incident, multi-agency, that's our uniqueness. We actually work across all the sectors, and it's about providing information, sharing, real live data streaming over maps as well. We are unique, we're the only people in the world that have developed software that's accessible from any geographical location. You can access it from any device, it's device neutral, it's free of charge. What we do is we build once and share many times. We're looking at crowdfunding as well, so this is where instead of individual partners going off spending public money to go and build a very silo, single agency product, it's around come to us, we've already got the service, you just pay for a bit of agile development and then we make that available to everyone. So it's a bit of crowdfunding.
Earlier on we saw that from the screen there's different zones in an incident. Zones will be created and the various services will then come in and it'll all be on one system, because obviously with the services they all have their different abbreviations, if you like, but this is now going to unify everything.
Yes, correct. So what it is, you can have, it's called a multi-layer buffer zone, so extendability tool. You can have multiple 200 metre cordon, you can have one that's further back, so if you've got a chemical spillage or if you've got something that's radioactive, then obviously you're going to handle that differently. You'll have shelter evacuation. The uniqueness again around our service is we pull in, working with our partners Ordnance Survey, the actual unique property reference data, so that when you have a cordon and it clusters populations, what you can do is you see how many properties, so that's if it's a block, it's how many apartments are in there, and you can send your resources to go and door knock and basically evacuate them. And that's the power of the tool, that you can send that to a mobile device, people on the ground. It's all around rapid response, it's around giving the information to the right people so that they can make informed decisions.
This is where innovation meets collaboration. It's where the emergency services meet every single year to showcase their services, their equipment and PPE. It's also where members of the emergency service not only talk about training, but plan about training throughout the year. Declan Keogh for emergencytimes.com at the Emergency Services Show at the NEC in Birmingham.